Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Living in Utah live question and answer session that I hold here Thursday night, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. I always say this has been a great day in Utah. This week, weather-wise, I love this time of year. Today, got a little bit cooler. It's probably in the 70s. It'll be a little cooler this weekend, but I love the 70, 80 degree weather. So fantastic weather for me. I actually pretty much like the weather year round. I actually like the snow. I enjoy the snow. I enjoy the snow during Christmas time. And I, enjoy some of the winter activities. I still go snowmobiling and I still ski from time to time. Not as much as when I was younger, but I still enjoy it. So, and there's something special too about heading out of town during the winter months. I can head down to like Mesquite and do some golf. I got a couple friends and we do that. So we kind of enjoy that. It's kind of like a guy's time out. We jump in the car and head down for a day or two and play some golf. And it's a great time. So if you have any kind of questions on the state of Utah, the United States, whatever you got, put it on the question and I will try my very best to come up with an answer. Maybe I will just have to look up an answer and get back with you on it. So we have a question. Hello. Thank you for doing these. You're welcome. I really enjoy this. I love where I live. I think the state of Utah is a great state. And I'm never one to say it is the greatest state there is. And I don't believe any place is probably the greatest. Depends on what your interests, hobbies, lifestyle is as to what you particularly might enjoy. Utah might not be for you. Maybe it's California. Maybe it's Texas. Maybe it's Florida. But I enjoy where I live. So what trends are you seeing with people moving in from out of state? Are they all going to one place? And what do you expect to happen in the next couple years? Okay, so I don't anticipate things to change. I think that the inbound population increase will continue. Two reasons. It was already on track because of a lot of the jobs that were coming here. And I think the pandemic created opportunities for people to work from home. And there are some people that can work remotely and are choosing to live in whatever state they want to. And I think some will choose Utah and some are choosing Utah. So I do not think that we're going to change a whole lot. The people who produce reports like that are showing increased. Matter of fact, they expect our population to double within, I don't know, about 20 or 30 years, I believe. So, and that's still really not a lot of people when you think. We're probably about 3.2, 3.3 million people. So if you double to 6 million, I mean, we're still going to be, 1/5 of the size of like California. So even if we doubled, right now we're probably 1/10 the size of California and probably Texas also. We're probably 1/10 the size of Texas. So as far as, there are two areas that people are moving to. That would be northern Utah and southern Utah. And southern Utah would be predominantly the St. George area. And in northern Utah, it's along what we call the Wasatch Front. I would say probably from Logan, Utah down towards Provo-Orem area. And they're attract two different demographics in a sense. Southern Utah receives a lot of retirees. It has traditionally been a retirement community. It still is a retirement community. There are a lot of people who own homes in the north that also own homes in the southern part of the state. They'll live in the southern part of the state during the winter months, and during the summer months, they can't take the heat, so they come up north. That is going to continue, and I see that growing. And there's people from out of state that are moving to southern Utah. Northern Utah is attracting a lot of companies and a lot of jobs, good paying jobs, technical field jobs, et cetera, et cetera. And I do not see that slowing down at any time. So yeah, that's what I project for the next few years. I don't think much is going to change. And Yeah, I just, another thing that comes to my mind is some of the reasons that I hear people moving to the state of Utah that I have never heard of before. And there are cities around the United States that this is happening in. There's a big defund the police movement, or no police at all. And I talk to people who want to move here because they do not like the defund the police movement. And they feel with a police force, they live in a safer society. So I'm hearing that more and more. Now, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the topic was not brought up, but lately it is being brought up. So, and there are cities around the country that will literally set a dollar amount that says if you steal from a store under, say, $900, $1,000, $1,100, we're not going to prosecute you anymore. And some people are not comfortable with that. So they are going to leave some of those areas. And I personally believe you're going to see businesses leave some of those areas. I don't know how a store could stay open if you could walk in the store and steal X amount and walk right out the store and know you're not going to be prosecuted. So that's just my own opinion. It is kind of political, so I did not name names on those cities and states, but I probably have in the past. So that's kind of what I see happening. And I don't, the growth in Utah, I do not see slowing down at all. So it's, Utah has a lot to offer. We're the outdoor recreational capital, and there's a lot of people that really enjoy the outdoor recreation, and that's what I love about Utah. So I'm an outdoor person. I love the outdoors. I love being outside. So even if it's just at a local park with a dog, I'm a happy camper. And I am noticing more and more retirees coming to northern Utah. And we do not make the list. When you look in a list of the top place in the United States to retire, Utah usually doesn't pop up there. And one of the reasons being is we have a state income tax of 5%, kind of a flat tax. And there are neighboring states like Nevada that has no income tax. I believe Wyoming also has no income tax. So there are cities around the country. But more and more people tell me, I'm willing to pay the 5% tax because I just want to, in my retirement years, I want to live a healthy lifestyle. I want to be able to have a lot of activities to do and live a healthier lifestyle, to possibly live as long as, you possibly could. So, and I hear that more and more. So, which is great. So, and that's kind of how I am. So I believe in an active lifestyle. And in my older years, I think that an active lifestyle personally would extend my life expectancy. So in the news this week, Sundance Film Festival, it will go on. So in January, very big festival. If you've never been to Sundance Film Festival and you enjoy films, it's a great place to go. Great place. You have a great time up there in Park City. But they are going to do a virtual Sundance Film Festival and an in-person Sundance Film Festival. So best of both worlds. So if you feel like, you want to stay out of the potential of a virus, we do have the Delta virus floating around the state of Utah, then you can do it online or you can attend Sundance Film Festival in person. So that's going to be January the 20th through January the 30th. So great. Great news to see things kind of getting back to normal. So there's always a topic on rent. Rent in Salt Lake City. It is up 12% from last year. Rent prices are up 12% from last year. The average rent in Salt Lake City right now is $1,389 is what the report is reporting. But I will give you a little bit of information I learned today. I actually have one of my units that one of my apartments in a fourplex that I gave it over to the property manager about 3 weeks ago. We went in, cleaned it up, and did some repairs, et cetera, et cetera. And I noticed that it's still not rented when I was by there today. And I asked him about it, and he actually raised the rent a little bit. And we can't get a tenant for it right now. So I was a little bit shocked about that. And then I found out from him that he has 12 properties at the moment on his books to rent out. So there is, in my opinion, a little bit of a slowing with the rentals. So, and that's just kind of on a personal level, what I've observed, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not in the rental business myself in a large amount, but I do have rentals, so I kind of, keep in touch with that. Good evening, Curtis, to you also. I believe you are joining us from Texas. Curtis, were you the person that was making the trip to Portland, Oregon? If so, I would love your opinion on Portland, Oregon these days. So, Dan H, hi Mike, love your videos. Thank you for creating this content. I'm thinking about possibly relocating to Cedar City to begin a second career in the next few years. How familiar are you with the area? I am familiar with the area. Cedar City itself is known as a college town. And I would say the one con with Cedar City that some people do not realize, or some people think, the weather from Cedar City to St. George is different. In the winter months, Cedar City receives snow, and it does get colder. Snowfall does come down there, and the temperatures are colder than St. George. So actually, when you come out of Cedar City, you actually drop elevation quite a bit to get into St. George, Utah. So there's some people that are choosing St. George because of the weather, and they're looking around and they notice Cedar City, but I sometimes don't think they realize that the temperature is not going to be the same as in St. George. So it does vary. You can look at some on weather.com or something like that, and you'll get a little bit better. But Cedar City is a college town. It's an area that it's been in the news recently. So Cedar City has been, for some reason, has been flooded. That we've had floods run through Cedar City for the last couple years. So it has made it to the news. So, but Cedar City is just kind of on its own. So you're an hour outside of St. George, but you're probably a good solid 3.5 hours into Salt Lake City. So it's kind of, but I imagine one day, the way the growth is going, you will see from St. George to Cedar City, you'll start seeing more homes go towards each other. That's what I project. So, but yeah, if you've got a career or you got a job lined up, Cedar City, that's great. That's the one complaint that a lot of people have, is it's harder to find jobs in Cedar City. The jobs are mostly in northern Utah. There are jobs in St. George and in Cedar City, but not like there is along the Wasatch Front. Nowhere near. So that's the one complaint about Cedar City, is people who go there looking for work. But if you've got something lined up and you're already going, you're fine. You're fine. You'll do okay. So also in the news, there was some car dealerships sold in Utah a week ago for, I think it was $3 billion, I believe, somewhere in that area. I don't know. You know, when you're starting talking billions, I guess you can leave off a few million. But the car dealerships were the Larry H. Miller car dealerships. He actually operated in 3 or 4 states. I think he had a total of about 70 car dealerships throughout the country. And he sold the the whole lot, the whole package in one big go. Larry Miller passed away in about 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. He's most notable for his car dealerships, and he owned the Utah Jazz. The family sold the Utah Jazz earlier this year, and another $1 billion sale. And Larry's family now sold the car dealerships. Larry has passed away since about 2009. He is a key figure in the state of Utah, an amazing individual. His accomplishments, it's hard to match. He started with one car dealership in Salt Lake City. I believe it was a Toyota dealership in 1979. And he built it up to, 70 car dealerships. Not too sure how many they've added since he passed away, the family, or the main guys who run it, I should say. But he bought the Jazz back in the 80s. And in my opinion, was a great owner of the Jazz. You could not have a guy that was more down to earth. When I would go to a Jazz game, Larry Miller was always in the front row, right middle court, front row seats, popcorn in his hand, hot dog in his hand. He was just like every other fan. He loved the game of basketball and loved the Jazz. In a lot of sports, a lot of owners are up in the box suites and whining and dining different people and bringing people in, and that whole experience. Not for Larry. Larry was, right there for the whole game, front row seat, and was a true fan, true sports lover. And I honestly believe that if the Jazz didn't make him any money, that he would still keep the Jazz all the years. I don't know what the Jazz ever made him as far as money goes. Through the days of Karl Malone, John Stockton, through the good years, they probably made very good money. But through some of the down years, I imagine it probably was not very profitable, be my guess. But Larry was the kind of guy that he really enjoyed it. And he was just a true fan, true sports fan, and pretty much probably didn't look at the numbers that it brought in a sense, because we had all these car dealerships too. So, but very down to earth individual. Ooh. Getting what used to be known as the Delta Center built was a miracle. The Jazz were probably off to Vegas if it wasn't for Larry. That's true. So the Delta Center, it's now called Energy Solutions Arena. The Delta Center was funded by Larry Miller. He did not ask for taxpayer donations, state donations, etc. At how some of the arenas and football fields are being built now. He built it with his money. So, yes, remarkable. But they did sell it to an individual in Utah that plans on keeping the team in Utah. So, but yeah, great person. All righty. Yeah, Larry Miller I've been told, and I don't know how true this is, but the company that bought the dealerships will keep the name, the Larry Miller Chevy, Larry Miller Dodge, Larry Miller Toyota. They, I believe, are going to keep the name going. So it's good news. Any more questions this evening out there? I did read an article today, and I forgot to print it off, but at BYU University, researchers there have pinpointed for some sort of like cure for cancer. They pinpointed how a particular gene multiplies, and so now they are working on medicines to attack that particular thing. It's breakthrough news from BYU University Research Department. So now they're going to go through the process of getting drugs that are tested through the FDA, et cetera, et cetera. So that's very good. And they had in the news today also about the Winter Olympics. They are pushing forward They are shooting for, I believe it's the 2030 Winter Olympics, but they feel that there might be a little bit of a roadblock because in 2028, the Summer Olympics is due to come here to the United States. So they're not too sure if the Olympic Committee would allow Summer Olympics in the 2028 and then 2030, the Winter Olympics. So, but they're pushing hard to bring the Olympics, and we still have the facilities here. So we now have more hotels here. We have more infrastructure to hold the Winter Olympics again. And they had said that the Winter Olympics they held in Salt Lake City was one of the only Winter Olympics that has been profitable. So not too sure on some of the ones they've held recently, but that was made a while back. So very profitable. Any other questions this evening? Curtis, did you make it to Portland, Oregon? Good old Portland. Urban Meyer has had quite the week. Yes, Frank. So Urban Meyer was a coach here for University of Utah, the Utah Utes. Loved Urban Meyer when he was here. He left here and had great success where he went. And Urban Meyer, I love what he did for the Utes. I think he's a great coach. I think he skirts the college rules very, very narrowly. So makes you wonder sometimes why he may have left Florida and then like Ohio State, some of the things that have may possibly gone on. But he's a great coach. He's a great coach. But definitely was not at the right place at the right time. And I think what's amazing about, great coach or great people, sometimes people forget that everybody has one of these in their pockets these days. So it's about all I'll say about anything. So, there is no privacy with anything you do or where you go. So what you say or actions that you do, there's someone there possibly to record it and sell it. So it's amazing at how from politicians all the way down forget that somebody could be recording them on their phone. So can't believe Whittingham has been the coach the entire time Urban left. Urban has had like 10 jobs to Kyle's one and only. That's true, but I believe that Kyle has had other opportunities. But just in my opinion, I believe Kyle loves the state of Utah and just does not want to leave. A few years ago, I know he was rumored for some of the California jobs that have popped up over time, USC, UCLA, places like that. But I just think that, he's a Utah guy. He's from Utah. I believe he played ball in Utah. I'm not sure on that, but I think they've paid him well. And there's something to go with the fact too, is he's a legend in the state of Utah, no matter where he goes. That goes a long way. So I think Whittingham is happy here, very happy, and I don't see him leaving. If anything, he would retire at some point, but I don't see him leaving. So I don't know him personally, but that's just my viewpoint from what I noticed just being a local fan. I was looking to purchase in Provo Orem a couple months ago, got outbid by buyers, waiving due diligence, inspection, etc. Any idea what the market in that area is like currently? Okay, so I got a couple things. I know she got a second question here. I was reading that one too. Wasn't comfortable waiving these, and realtor said that was the only way to win a bid. So I got two parts to that question. Try to remember to answer both of them. The market has changed. I believe the market has changed a little bit. I'm not seeing some of the crazy bids anymore. They're still out there. I lost a bid by $50,000 a few weeks ago. So, but we were seeing, $400,000 home listed. Someone bid 5, no appraisal, no nothing. And they would, it would still come at 400,000, the appraisal. And people would have to come up with the money. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, neighbor, come up with the difference. It seems to be dying off a little. Those no inspections. We don't care what the appraisal comes in. We're still buying the house, et cetera, et cetera. So, in my opinion, I'm noticing that has died off a little bit. We're still getting asking price or above asking. If this is the big if the home was priced accordingly when it went to market. There are some people out there that are just like throwing numbers out there, say, put it on the market for $600,000 and it's a $500,000 home. And those homes are sitting, or they may have to have price reductions. And some people are like, well, that's what it takes me to move. Otherwise, I will not move. So, it's still a hot market. It's still a hot market. It's just not red hot like it was. I can remember going to some houses where I felt like I was in line for, you remember when the iPhones used to come out, like the new model, and people would wait in line to be the first in the door? It felt like that. Literally, the key was being passed to every agent in the line, and we all were standing outside in the middle of the afternoon waiting to see this home. So that has slowed down some. That definitely has slowed down some. So, and you'll be in line with 20 other people waiting to see a home, and that's not an exaggeration. So I notice it's slowing down just a little bit on that there. So most of the deals lately that I've got under contract, we are appraisals, inspections, everything. We're not. And one right now, we've actually got the seller is doing repairs. So as far as the ability to win a bid, there's a lot that mean, to win a bid. Some agents feel it's all price. Just throw your top dollar. I can tell you a true story right here that we won and we closed on the house. This was a few months ago. We were not the highest bidder, but we were probably the most qualified bidder. What I found out so all bids were due by like 5 o'clock on whatever day it was. And what I had found out was what the people really wanted was this deal had to make it to the closing table. They wanted assurances that it was going to make it to the closing table instead of maybe take another $5,000 or $10,000 for the property. So between me and the seller agent and the mortgage man, we spent all afternoon on the phone. Boom, 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 ensuring to the sellers that we were good to go, money wouldn't be the problem, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The seller felt very comfortable with us, very comfortable with our offer. So when the bids cut off at 5 o'clock, we received a phone call, literally probably a half hour later, and we had won the bid. So I won the bid purely because the seller, their number one priority was that it made it to the closing table. So every seller is different. Some sellers, they just want the highest dollar. And if it falls through, they're okay with that. They'll wait another month, as long as they get that top dollar. There are some people out there, though, that have other things lined up. So they just want a fair offer, but one that will close down the road. So sometimes it takes, every deal is different. Good evening. Do the majority of realtors expect their clients to do their own research online? We contacted a realtor recently, saw a home on Zillow. He was very eager. It would have been a cash sale. Well, Gail, I guess my question would be as far as do your own research online as to what you're referring to, as to like find your own homes. I know personally, I have two options that I put people on. I have two ways of getting people inventory. And this is the way I like to operate. Everybody's different. But one of them is you would receive new inventory once per day that was listed on the market, so that you don't get all these emails. You get one email and it gives all the details. You literally do not have to call me for anything. And I kind of prefer it that way. I know some people do not like to maybe communicate or have to keep making all these phone calls in the middle of the day. So it gives them price, square footage, just about everything. So that's option number one. Then I have another one that you can actually receive listings pretty much as they are hitting the market. The downside to that is some people have their phone set to every time they get an email, ding, 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 and it drives them crazy throughout the day. Their phone's just going off like a hot box because they might get 5 or 6 emails in one day. And so there's that way. So as far as doing like research, that's kind of how I do as far as getting people inventory, et cetera, et cetera. As far as other research, like maybe neighborhoods or stuff like that, then no, everybody works a little bit different, So, okay. We didn't like the area, saw some dumpy homes nearby. We haven't heard from him since. Well, I guess, I guess I'm not here to defend other people in the industry, but it doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you're a car salesman, you're a computer programmer, you're an accountant. There are some people that do excellent jobs, and there are some people that do poor jobs, and that is across the board. So, and every industry, it can go that way. How is the weather over there? Well, today we were in like the 70s. We have been in like the 80s. It's supposed to cool down a little bit this weekend. So got a little bit of rain this afternoon. Thank you for your answer. Really appreciate it. You're welcome. And yes, I was the highest bidder, but sellers were taking other bids without due diligence, et cetera, at the time. Yeah, and there are some sellers. Every deal is different. There are some sellers that will do that. So it's it's a process. It's a process, and I'm not going to lie to you. I've worked with people that sometimes get frustrated. Many offers out there, not get something accepted, but then you get people who get offers accepted, and there's a couple people that come to mind. And one individual, he worked out of state. He was always out of state, except on weekends. He was getting really frustrated with it. But boom, all of a sudden, offer accepted. He's in a home now. So it's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy. So, and if you're living in the state of Utah, you actually have it easier. Some people fly into the state of Utah on a weekend and, try to purchase a home or put an offer on a home with low inventory, and that's almost impossible. That's very, very tough. So, and I have things we do for that also. So, but yeah, every deal is a little bit different. If I come out there, can you make a great deal if I want to buy a home there? Sure, try my very best. As far as everybody's idea of a great deal is different. So it's all in the eye of the beholder. So do you work for a major realtor company, or do you run your own real estate firm? No, I work for a company called Equity Real Estate. It is a Utah real estate agency. We have offices throughout the whole state, and also in Idaho and a couple other states, New Mexico, I believe. But no, I would not probably own my own real estate firm. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to be on the whole business side of everything, of having all these agents and trying to run more of a business. I really enjoy just the buying and selling. I enjoy different homes, different neighborhoods. A couple of weeks ago, I was actually out shopping for cabins, and I absolutely enjoyed it because there's some areas that I do not get to, and getting to see some of the backcountry and areas I wasn't as familiar with, it really is an excitement for me. It really makes my day. I really enjoyed that time. Really enjoyed that time. So I enjoy being outside. I enjoy the whole just being an agent. I enjoy the whole part. I'm not much of a business guy to like run a business, and I probably could do, but it's not my gig. I'm more of a one-man band type of thing. But I have agents that also help me out too, because I can't handle it all myself. But how bad does the air quality get? Depends where you're at. So it depends where you're at along the Wasatch Front. But the air quality predominantly, well, used to be just in the winter months, because we are surrounded by mountains. So it's kind of like a bowl, and the poor air gets trapped. The dirty air gets trapped below, and we have to wait for a storm to come and blow it out. Things are improving. Even the EPA says it's improved. So we do have some yellow and red air days during the winter months. Now, we've had a new thing happening over the last 2 years with the California wildfires. If we get weather fronts that come straight across from California, it is bringing that smoke over to us. And there was actually a time here this summer where we had the worst air quality in the nation, because the California smoke had come over and settled in the valley. We weren't the only ones, because then it moved from us to Denver, Colorado. And then Denver had the worst air day in the country. And I heard it went all the way out towards Maryland, and they were experiencing it. But we had a few days this summer that wildfire smoke settled in the valley. We couldn't see the mountains, could not see the mountains. So we had a couple of days last year. It really depends how the weather comes. If it comes from the north down or comes from the south up, it doesn't really happen. But when it comes straight across Nevada, right to us, that wildfire smoke was bad. It really was. So depends where we're at, and will it happen in the future as far as the wildfires go? Don't know. I really don't know what California's plan is for the wildfires either. So it appears to me, just watching on TV, that the wildfires in California seem to be happening every year. It just seems to be a normal occurrence. This isn't a one-time thing. So, yeah. So Mr. Z, Snow Basin was quite beautiful last Saturday. Yeah. Yes. Actually, I was just up there and doing some filming. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. I've got some great shots that are going to come out. But yes, Snow Basin. Yeah. Beautiful time. So for those who don't know, this time of year, we have the colors change and fall season. So you have some green, some yellow, and some red. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Oh, I walked around Mirror Lake Trail, side of Bald Mountain across the street. Apparently, there are bighorn sheep on that mountain. Didn't know that, but I love Mirror Lake. So, great area. Great area. Let's see if I can pull that up here. Okay, so we can. So where Mr. Z is talking about, over here on the mountains, is called the Uinta Wasatch National Forest. I call it the Uintas. That's what we pretty much have always known for, but it is a beautiful recreational area. Beautiful. So there's a couple ways to get here. You can travel from Salt Lake City and come up through Camas and come in what I call the back way, or you can come on Interstate 80 to Evanston, Wyoming, and you turn out of Evanston, Wyoming, and you come into the Uinta Mountains. Beautiful recreational area. If during the summer months you want to escape the heat, the 90-degree days that we have, go to the Uinta Mountains. 10 to 15 degrees cooler, beautiful, beautiful. You can hike, you can fish, UTV, ATV, you name it up there. It's a large area, thousands, hundreds of thousands of acres, camp, you name it. Tradition for me, for a couple years, we would go up for July the 4th and have a beautiful picnic and do some fishing and some hiking and escape the heat of July 4th. And then we would come down and watch the fireworks from a local city's fireworks. So great area. Love the aspen yellow. Yes. So the fall colors, Mr. Z's talking about the fall colors. I will have some pictures coming out. Oh, I went on Utah 150 based on your suggestion. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in the Uinta Mountains, a lot. Beautiful place. Utah might be able to sue California for negligence in forest management and lack of air and ground resources to fight these fires. I believe the state has had the funds and allocated the money. Yes, I just hope that it gets cured. It was terrible. Really was terrible. Yeah, really was terrible. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it, but we suffered some yellow and red air days during that time period. So it's great now. Great now. Good evening. Hello, I'm new to the channel. Welcome to the channel. I have probably over 100 videos on the channel for your enjoyment. Hope you enjoy it. And on Thursday evenings, I just hold a general question and answer session. It's just open forum. It's live. Nothing is rehearsed. Nothing is edited. It's just raw. And that's been an experience for me too. I've never had the experience of you talk to people all the time on a one-on-one conversation, whether on the phone or in person. But when you're talking to someone on a little webcam, there's not a person there. It's just a camera. It's really weird. It's really weird to have a conversation with just a camera. So, is it cheaper to build a brick house over a house with siding? It's not. Nope. What do you love most about Utah? What places do you like to visit? By the way, I'm not Utahn. So what I love most about Utah is we are an outdoor recreational state. So if you enjoy the outdoor recreation, whatever your recreation is, you can find it in Utah. If you own a boat, you own a jet ski, a snowmobile, snow skis, golfing equipment, fishing pole, hunting, archery. I'm going to leave out a lot, I know. Mountain bike, etc. You will find activities, hiking. You will find activities in the state of Utah, north and south. Well, southern Utah, you would not get the snowing like the snow resort, ski resorts like we get in northern Utah. But it's great. So outdoor recreation, and also we are a family state. State of Utah is very family oriented. There are a lot of families in the state of Utah. You will probably notice in Utah we have traditionally probably larger families than some other states. So we are family based, a lot of activities for kids. So we are different than maybe like to our neighbors to the south, like Las Vegas. And I go to Las Vegas, but where in Las Vegas you find a bar or a strip club or a casino on just about every street. In Utah, you don't, but you'll find a lot of parks and recreation in every city, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm living in Clinton and have been my whole life. Yep. Clinton, great area. Especially because of all of us Mormons. Ha ha. Like Bryce Canyon and Zion National Park are very pretty in the fall, I've heard. Yes. We have some beautiful colors throughout the state. We do. This time of year, when the colors change, it's very beautiful. So very beautiful. Just take a drive through some of the canyons throughout the valley, and you will see some beautiful colors. If you're into photography, boom, there you go. So my niece is taking photography in college right now, and they just took the UTV up last weekend, up the canyon, and got some amazing shots. So have you been to North Logan Pumpkin Walk? I have not. Have not been to North Logan in a long time. Not familiar with the Logan Pumpkin Walk. So, but I was in Logan last weekend for the football game, but I have not been to North Logan in a little while. Any more questions this evening? I try to go to Zion every year, either in the fall or spring with my family and friends. Absolutely worth the trip. Yes. Yep. Great time of year. Great time of year to go. That's in my opinion, the best times. The summer months, it gets so warm. Excuse me, at Zion National Park that I personally do not enjoy it as much. So I would be more of a spring and fall person too. And I think the colors, it's just beautiful, the spring and fall. So great time to go. A lot of the tourism from around the world and around the country hit during the summer months, but I would give them advice to probably go in the spring and fall. They paint pumpkins with faces and reenact movies and fairies. Cool. Was not familiar with that. Cool. I'll have to look into that a little bit. Any more questions this evening as we move on? Call it a night here. Has been a great night. I appreciate all the questions. It's been very enjoyable. And with that, I am going to call it an evening. Thank you very much.